Hey guys, it's Stephen here from Dynamx. Now every year e-commerce brands lose millions because of one thing, cart abandonment. The average abandonment rate is nearly 70%, so for every 10 people who add the cart, only 3 actually buy. If you don't have a proper abandoned cart flow, you're not just missing sales, you're leaving serious money on the table. In this video, I'm going to show you our exact step-by-step Dynamx Klaviyo abandoned cart and added to cart flow, and how you can set them up for high intent clicks. This is going to be the Dynamx playbook for how to create a really high converting abandoned cart flow. I'm going to add in a special bonus, and I'm going to show you the added to cart framework and how you can also implement the do's and the don'ts, and the difference between the metrics. So let's hop right into it. Now, some recent wins for us. This is a 90-day snapshot for a British brand that we're currently managing. They did £1.3 million and £445,000 came from our campaigns and our flows. So this is more just to display the amount of money on the table right now in email marketing. It's insane, and none more so than in the Dynamx abandoned cart. So this is email 1. These are some pretty solid benchmarks: 50% open rate, 8% click rate, almost a 7% placed order rate, and that's taken in $25,000 just over a 30-day snapshot. So insane, like really big numbers. Now every year e-com brands lose millions because of one thing, and it's cart abandonment. The average abandonment rate sourced from Baymart.com is around 70%. So that means for every 10 people that actually add to the cart, you're only converting on average 3 of them. So there's 7 people there, 7 potential customers that are ripe for the pluck. And this is like really high intent based stuff. If you're going so far to actually start a checkout now event, you're like literally so close to transacting. So email right now remains one of the highest ROI channels in all of e-commerce, generating an average of $36 to $42 for every single dollar that you spend. That can mean around 30% of your total attributed revenue can come literally from email marketing. So here are some pretty solid industry benchmarks. The TLDR version of this is just basically email, and in particular abandoned cart email 1 should be either the number 1 and certainly the most number 2 highest converting flow and email inside your Klaviyo account. And if it's not, we have to optimize it, and we're going to do it together on this video. I'm going to give you some ninja level hacks in just a second. We're literally going to jump into our Figma. I'm going to give you 10 different examples, proven money printers, and I'm going to give you something that isn't available on YouTube right now. If you stick with me, I'm going to show you how you get these things to click like nobody's business, guys, especially on a mobile version. We're doing something really particular inside all of our Dynamx abandoned carts, and we've got the metrics to back it up and why it's converting so well. So if you stick with me, you're going to learn a lot here. Let's go into the Dynamx approach. This is what's printing right now in e-commerce. I promise you it is. We're using dynamic hero images. So we're not using just your cookie cutter dynamic product blocks. We put them in as well, as they're really important, and you should too. We're using full Figma design layouts and smart segmentation and logic. So let's jump back into Figma and focus a little bit together on what these dynamic hero images are. Very simply, we are optimizing the vast majority of our high intent conversion focused to be really responsive, light, fast loading, and ideally have 0 scroll on a mobile device. Around 70% across the board of all of the open rates are being done on iPhones, Android phones, tablets. So you must optimize for them and keep that in mind. Instead of having a hero image that say maybe looks like this, and you have to scroll to get to the cart, we are finding that we can have a background overlaid hero image with our dynamic image showing exactly what was added to cart in terms of line item number 1. Then if you continue scrolling down, you will have the standard product block, which will bring in everything that they added into the cart. So we're finding in the abandoned cart, the added to cart, and the browse abandonment, by having these dynamic hero images, the click rate is significantly higher. We have tested this on over 20 brands, and 18 of them all showed extreme improvements in the click rate. There was only 2 that didn't, and they were more educational based sort of products, not really necessarily full-on e-commerce products, right? They were kind of blurring the lines between a little bit of sassy sort of e-commerce. We find with those, you actually need a little bit more education, guys. So it doesn't really matter if you do it this way or you don't, to be quite frank with you. But for most e-com brands, it certainly does. So I encourage you right now, if you're watching this video, at the end, to go and experiment. Take a design like this, for example, and run it against a dynamic hero image design, and you should see see a noticeable difference. Even if that's just a 1% improvement, guys, over a 365-day snapshot in terms of the click, that can literally lead to tens of thousands of dollars in the placed order rate. So your RPR, right, your revenue per recipient can astronomically shoot up if you simply experiment with this. So do it even sometimes with text, right? Get rid of the long scroll-faced hero images, go for text, go for urgency, go for dynamic images. Just don't be afraid ultimately to mix and match it, play, see what's a good fit for your brand. We are just wanting to display that this is what we're doing in 7-figure, 8-figure, and even 9-figure brands right now. Everything that we're doing, including sign-up forms, we are going for zero scroll in almost every single thing. Yes, the emails are very expansive. They have nice elements, nice categories, UGC, social proof. It's very important that that's all in there. But for sure, for high intent, conversion focused emails, which most of these flow based emails are, you should have stuff up top. Strong headers, bold hooks, subheaders, solid discounts wrapped if it's necessary, if it's relevant. If it isn't, at least a solid CTA, and ideally some kind of a dynamic image, okay? I promise you, you will make more money just by simply doing that. Now, quick pit stop. If you're watching this and thinking your brand might be leaving thousands behind in abandoned carts, you're absolutely right. At Dynamx, we design abandoned cart flows that generate an average of $3.65 of revenue per recipient, with top performance hitting almost 29. Book a free Klaviyo account audit today by visiting dynamx.max, and we'll finally get this handled for you. Now, if we continue on, I want to just create a little bit of an awareness. So in fact, there's actually two flows. There's one called abandoned cart, which is triggered off the Shopify added to cart metric. This used to be triggered off an API added to cart metric. We used to have to inject a little snippet of code inside your guys' liquid themes. You do not need to do that no more. The added to cart Shopify metric is now native inside Klaviyo. If you cannot see it inside your Klaviyo account, I'm going to demo how you can disable the integration and simply re-authenticate it to force it to display. There is the other version of this flow, the more popular one, which is abandoned checkout. Now, most people, they confuse this and they call it the abandoned cart, but it's not actually what it is. The abandoned checkout flow is triggered differently, and it will be a more powerful variant than this one over here on the left. Okay, guys, I'm going to display this to you inside my test store so you see how they're actually triggered. We're going to look inside Klaviyo, we're going to check out the metrics together, and then we're going to quickly build out an abandoned cart flow in terms of the framework. So let's hop right into it. So guys, we're now inside Klaviyo, and you can see here there is the newer Shopify added to cart metric. There is also the older, which is the gear icon. This is the API metric. So if we hop in here, you will see the data is flowing in. So this is what you're looking for, guys, inside your account. I'm going to quickly show you how you can get it if it's not there. So if you simply come in and go to integrations here on the bottom left, go into Shopify, you can see on the upper right, and this is only if the metric is currently not showing, you can simply disable the integration. Okay, let's click the red call to action and do that. It only takes just about a few seconds, and we will select the track behavioral events checkbox if it is unchecked. Even if it isn't though, still disable and then simply enable the integration again. We will also update the settings. Now, this can take honestly from 4 even upwards of 8 hours sometimes for this metric actually resync and become available. So you can see here how fast that was. Your Shopify settings have been updated. Let's triple check that though by selecting the black call to action. Just want to make sure that this is definitely done, and you can select this button again. You will get another green CTA, a double one. Now we categorically know that we have disabled this, re-authenticated and enabled it. So inside of the metrics area here in a little while, the Shopify icon will display, guys. So again, that's this one. If it isn't in your account, that's how you can force it to come in there, okay? Now, the checkout started version of this, what we're gonna do now is demo how abandoned cart, added to cart actually gets triggered, and I'll immediately show you the difference with the checkout started, just so you have the reference. So this is our little test store that we use for playing around with. Okay, so we got a nice rugby ball here for the dog in blue. Let's add it to cart. So right now, I have just technically triggered this event. If I continue on here and I X out and I take this action, that is me adding the cart and effectively abandoning it. So Klaviyo will fire that flow to you. However, if we go back in to the same product, we add it to cart. We then select the checkout now version. This is us priming the checkout started metric to fire. Now, if I abandon, that flow will fire. Okay guys, so if I totally abandon here, this is triggering this version of the flow. Again, it's really, really important that this is your primary version of this, as it will drive the most money. However, the added to cart version is no slouch. Now let's hop back inside Klaviyo. We're now back inside Klaviyo. This is our master version of this flow that we like to use. Okay, so it's very simply triggered off the Shopify checkout started metric. So again, just to double down which one we're building, we are building the abandoned checkout triggered off checkout started right now inside Klaviyo. So a couple of little filters that come natively: placed order 0 times since starting this flow and has not been in this flow in the last 10 days. This could be last 7 days if you wanted to be more aggressive, could be last 21 if you don't want to maybe overwhelm the customers. It's totally personal preference. We just find that this is the sweet spot to maximize conversions without bombarding your actual client base. So we wait 2 hours. If you would like to be aggressive, you can lower this to 1 hour. You can even lower it to 30 minutes, for example. Now, I would recommend that you do lower this to 30 minutes in Black Friday, Cyber Monday when you're pushing, right? Because the inbox competition is going to be fierce. The platforms are going to be super, super noisy. So you do want to get these high intent emails out very, very quickly, at least for a short period of time. We like to start with 3 emails inside the flows. Let's pop back out and I'll show you where you can actually find the architecture for this flow. So if you come in to flows, select create flow, what you can type in here is simply cart. You can select the abandoned cart reminder. So this is Shopify added to cart. Okay, so this is going to give you the ability to create the first version of this, of the added to cart trigger, for example. Now, if we select this, you can see that right now it's the old version of this. So do make sure that you're going to be getting the new version before you start to build this out. Okay, so I'm going to show you what it actually looks like in just a sec here. Now, if you type in checkout, you can see that this is the abandoned checkout reminder. So this is the standard version which triggers off the checkout started metric, guys. Okay, so you can select use template, and we're going to build this out really quickly together. I'm going to show you how easy it is. It comes already with the correct variables inside here. So this is Klaviyo building their little framework out for us here. So all we're going to do is simply grab this, snap it under. We're going to delete everything below, both paths. Let's get rid of all of that. Then we're going to simply clone the time delay, snap it under email 2. We're going to clone email 2, snap it underneath this time delay right here. So you can see in the profile filters, it has came over with placed order 0 times since starting this flow and has not been in this flow in the last 7 days. If you want to change this up, you can simply, let's do 10 days, for example, and you can also put in various different metrics. Do remember one thing as well, guys, make sure that this box is not checked, right? Make sure that that's turned off. You need people to receive those emails. It's really, really, really important. Now, inside here, you can go in and you can start to experiment with this. You can change the copy. You can do all of that if you want to remain inside the Klaviyo template builder. The most important thing is to make sure the link address, if we copy it, is inside everywhere here. So it must be inside all the call to actions. Put it inside every single thing that can be clicked that you would like to be clicked. Make sure that it's in there, because it's really, really important that we are redirecting them back to the site. Okay, so if we were to preview this, for example, you can see that there would be an image here, the quantity, the totals, and all of that good stuff. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to pop back into an actual live client account and I'm going to demo this in real time just so you can see what it looks like when the emails are all designed. All right, guys, so this is an actual client account. I have removed their logo just to protect their privacy, but let's preview this together so you can actually see what this looks like in real time. So there is the top line item from the cart that's actually displaying in here. Now, if we scroll down, you can see if we demo a variety of customers, the cart and the contents are going to change. This may expand if the person has added more than one item in, for example, so you can go through. In this case, this person has added 2, right? So another really important thing here is, do you notice here? I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. It's very, very important if you're doing a dynamic image. This is the variable that you have, that you're either going to pull in line item 0 or line item 1, and only that, because if you don't and the customer adds more than one thing to the cart, like for example, this person has here, it will bust the email, right? It will throw in 2 images and hero image will be like really broken. Okay, so you simply code that out with that variable here. However, you do want that to expand. If the customer has added 7 items in the cart, we want to show them everything. Okay, guys, so very, very, very important stuff that you do that. And you can see here that we have our link address all over the place inside here. Basically anywhere that they can click I want them to go back to the cart like that. They must go back to the cart, and it will dramatically increase your chances of a conversion. So guys, now we're going to quickly do together the added to cart version of this flow. It's very simple. It comes out of the box with all of these filters. Now the filter that's really important that I need you to pay attention to here is this. So it's asking a question: has a person checkout started 0 times since starting this flow? So why it's going to ask this, and it's going to ask it all the way down, which is really important. It's in case the person goes a step further and starts the checkout now version of this flow, so that you don't accidentally double fire the added to cart and then the checkout started version, guys. So Klaviyo is pretty smart out of the box, and that's how it comes once you search for it in the flow library. It's the same emails, pretty much the same design. The only difference here is the variable inside of the call to action is different, and when you create the flow, you're going to see exactly what that is. Okay, so just take that variable and put it top to bottom inside all of the images. Anything that's clickable that you would like them to click, make sure it's going to send them back to the cart. Okay, let's hop back inside our doc. Just a quick recap. We've learned so far the distinct difference between abandoned cart, which is added to cart, and abandoned checkout, which is technically checkout started. Okay, so just make sure that both of these flows are set up and firing, and you guys are going to have a license to print money. Now this is our internal flow strategy here. It's up to you. We've just found that this generally works pretty well across the board. You can start out with 3 of them that are really conversion focused. Then you can maybe sprinkle in and chop and change it up. With email 3, you can try frequently asked questions. You can add in risk reversals as well. You could even do the nudge and the discount in email 4. Generally, when we're building for clients though, we'll do email 1, 2 and 3, and email 3 will be the thing that has the offer, the incentive. Is it some kind of free shipping? Is it a bundle? Is it a free gift? Is it a straight up discount or money just off the order? You can totally do that. We see really fantastic conversions doing it in email 2. It's a little bit aggressive. A lot of founders don't like to do it. They like to save it for email 3. Okay guys, so it's totally up to you. Experiment with it. But when you build out the added to cart and the checkout flow, make sure they have 3 emails at an absolute minimum. When the metrics inside email 3, when open is above 40, ideally 45%, the click rate is north of 1.25, maybe even 1.5, then it's time to add in email number 4. Repeat the same process, add in email number 5. If you guys are doing drop shipping and things that are a little bit more sort of aggressive, then maybe right off of the rip you can just go for a 5 email abandoned cart flow. It's totally fine if you want to do that, by the way, but generally speaking, we build them with 3 and we scale slowly over time. Continuing on, guys, these are some of the principles similar to how I just demoed inside of Figma. Do experiment with getting your dynamic images in up top and have background images such as this one as overlays. You can even just simply have white backgrounds, or you can literally have an email that maybe looks a little bit more like this one. So it's going to be with a ton of marketing verbiage, countdown timer to create some FOMO, and then you can have your product block a little bit further down. There's no right or wrong way to go about it, so do experiments and see what works for you. Now, some benchmarks to aim for. Again, guys, these are the industry standard benchmarks. You want open rates ideally around 50 to 65%, click rates around 6 to 10%, placed order rates anywhere from 3 all the way up to 8%, your RPR, so your revenue per recipient, around 3 US to 29 US. It depends a little bit on your vertical, honestly, but these are pretty healthy things to aim for. So again, I've included an image down here on the right. You can see these metrics in action here, everything I just displayed. Now, with that, just remember, guys, this doc is linked down below. You can simply click the link and go put in your email, and it's immediately sent over to you guys. So our final word on this, the abandoned cart flows, don't just set in them and forget them. Do experiment with them. They should be in a perpetual and constant state of A/B testing, in particular for the click rates. They're gonna be your highest value test bed. They're gonna give you the most bang for your buck. So open rates, subject lines, preview text, the innards for the clicks, the designs, discount strategies, copy, offer testing. When this is all done properly, it can literally account for 10 to 15% of your guys' total monthly revenue, guys, coming from an abandoned cart Klaviyo flow. So it's insane, right? And you don't even need to spend a penny more on ads to get that. That's what's the craziest part at all. So over here at Dynamx, we're designing every abandoned cart sequence in Figma first. We map it in Klaviyo with all of the dynamic content, and then we optimize it after the fact for performance using the design innards and deliverability optimization. So execute this correctly. Gonna be adding a ton of revenue inside your business. I promise you are. So again, guys, if you like what you've seen so far, you can come sign up at dynamx.max for our free newsletter. We drop a lot of content strategies. We go into much more detail about advanced flows, give you guys some no BS tips in terms of revenue driving, right? No recycled tips, no bro science. We just give it to you straight. Whatever we're seeing that's working, we send it out in our weekly newsletter. And hey, if you would like me or my team to come and audit your Klaviyo account, you can do so by visiting us at dynamx.max, scheduling your totally free consultation. Now guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Abandoned cart flows aren't just a set it and forget it automation. They're your single most valuable test bed for subject lines, offers, and design. Done right, they can drive 10 to 15% of your brand's total monthly revenue without spending a dime more on ads. That's why at Dynamx, we do not use templates. We map every abandoned cart sequence in Figma first, engineer it in Klaviyo, and optimize it until it starts to actually print the money. If you're ready to turn your abandoned carts into a revenue engine, hit the link, book your free audit, and let's make email your #1 sales channel. If this video has helped you, please like, comment, and please subscribe for more, guys. Take care. Bye for now.